Hello everybody, welcome to Tpull's Corner. This is Travis, hope you had a good day. I had fun with the frogs in Blomburrow. I went back to revisit some of the animal types in the neighboring expansions, realized there were some other frogs in the other expansions that might be kind of fun. And we didn't play with all of the frogs in Blomburrow, so you know what we're going to do? I've got a couple of the lands that turn into creatures, Restless Reef and Restless Vinestock. So if we do get enough lands out later, those could come in handy. And we're starting the engines already. They get rid of Lightning Strike. Why do I get the sense this is going to be like a fast-paced deck? Well, we got two Restless Reefs. May not be fast for us. And of course, on curve, a creature that just creates additional creatures all the time. Let's just get rid of that. Doesn't matter. You eliminate the threat on turn 3 and they've already got a sizable advantage. I tend to think having something at turn 3 that generates something constantly every single turn is a little too much value. But that's just me. What do I know? Alright, we'll bring down the Pawn Prophet. We'll draw a card. We'll make it a 2/2. And we still can't block Redshift. But the weird thing is they did that to activate abilities. They don't have anything to activate right now. Hello? Okay, we are going to block that. We're going to stop them from getting to 4 if we can. Kind of expected that, though. Okay, everybody's at power 2, right? Okay, so we'll destroy each with 2 and return creature back. We only have the 1, so it comes back. And they can do 1 damage to my face. Which does not get them up to start your engines 4. Because I did that on my turn. But now we have to worry about haste creatures. Boom Scholar. Costs 2 less to activate for others. And they can get trample, okay? They don't have a lot of mana. Can they do something against an 18/6? Yeah, baby. You can chump block. That's what you can do. Oh, it's like they're... Come on. There we go. You had your turn. It's time for mine. Try and steamroll me fast. And we'll draw a card. Perfect. Now they can power up the Velohard bike and chump block with the bike first if they want to. But they can't block and then power it up and still have enough time for this to block somewhere. And I need to saddle this, which I might be willing to saddle it with something. Just to get some more card draw here. Although that might not be needed. Watch out, we got a 3/4. I'm just having too much fun. Okay, let's end this, okay? Long River Lurker will make the Yargle unblockable. Go to combat. And just end the match. Ta-da! Frogs are fun. Alright, welcome to Tpull's Corner. We are all about the frogs today. Travis built a deck called All the Other Frogs. We did a series called The 12 Days of Blomburrow, and one of those days was the frogs. We have some of the same ones, right? We have 4 of the Bellowing Criers. When it enters, draw a card, discard a card. We have 3 of the Pond Prophets. When this creature, just draw a card. That's it. And we can make it work because we can pour 2 into it and tap it and make one of those other creatures. All other frogs you control have Ward 1. It has Ward 1 itself, so it's a 2/3 frog scout. When it enters, target creature you control can't be blocked this turn. When that creature deals combat damage this turn, you may exile it, and if you do, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. So you could easily just, even if you don't want to do it for anything else, even if there's no enter into battlefield effect, it's still good to use this on a creature so that you can attack, and it's sort of like having vigilance, right? You bring it back to the exile, bring it back to the battlefield, and it's untapped, so it could actually block the next turn as well. And then we have the Splash Lasher, 3 of those, and it's got the Offspring ability. When it enters up to 1 target creature, you can put a stun counter on it, and if you've got 6, then you can pay for the Offspring and get a little 1/1 Frog Wizard baby that you see pictured to the right there, and then you're tapping 2 creatures and putting a stun counter on each one. Or you could just, if there's only 1 creature they have, you could tap it down with both of these and put 2 stun counters on it. What's nice is you could, with the Dour Port Mage, you could bring this back up to your hand if you only had like 4 mana, and then bring it back down later when you have 6. So you could get this up and creating more and more of the Splash Lasher babies, so to speak, and keep tapping down their creatures. The other frogs that we have in here, we've got an Urg Spawn of Turg. Its power is equal to the number of land cards in your graveyard. At the beginning of your upkeep, surveil 1. So it's built to kind of help. If you've got enough lands out already, you surveil a land, throw it in the graveyard, increases power. Or there's a second way. You can spend a green and a black and sacrifice a land and gain 2 life. This is kind of fun sometimes because with things like Bellowing Crier, once you have enough land, you can draw a card. If you're drawing lands, you just discard them and power up Urg some more. I only included 1 copy because I've got a number of legendary creatures, and you can only have 1 legendary creature of its type in at a single time. In my playtesting, this card kind of needs a better build around if you're going to focus on multiple copies. Otherwise, you end up with a lot of extra worthless copies in your hand a lot of the time. We have Mythic Rare Frog Horror Mount from Outlaws of Thunder Junction. It's the Gitrog Ravenous Ride. A 6/5 with Trample and Haste. If you saddle it, it only costs 1 to saddle. When it does combat damage to a player, you can sacrifice the creature that saddled it and then draw a card. So if you only saddled for 1 power, you could draw 1 card and put up to 1 land card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. If you sacrifice 3, you're drawing 3 cards, and if you have 3 land cards in your hand, you can bring 3 land cards down. So that's my little bit of haste in the deck. And then from yet another expansion, we have Yargle and Multani. It's a frog and a spirit elemental. 18/6, that's it. Just 18/6, 3 copies of it. I think that's enough. And we also have the Halo Hopper, which is an artifact frog. You can technically bring this down for 0, because it's got Convoke. If I have 3 other creatures, I could just tap those creatures and bring this down. And we have Glarb, Calamity's Augur. I don't think I played this in the original Blomburrow deck. It is a Blomburrow frog, but it's kind of new for me. It's a legendary frog wizard noble, a 2/4 with Death Touch. You can look at the top card of your library anytime. I always love that kind of card. You can play lands and cast spells with mana value 4 or greater from the top of your library, plus you get to tap it and surveil 2. So if you don't like what you're seeing, say it's just before your turn, you could, if you were using this just as a blocker with Death Touch, you could tap it, see what's coming up, and if the top card's not a mana value 4 or land that you want, maybe the next second card is, so you can just arrange things the way you want. So here's the 22 creatures, 3.1 average, so it's kind of average cost, kept the 24 lands. And as it resorts these things back, let's cover everything that's not a frog, okay? Or no, it didn't put them back. It had a, oh goody. I thought in the old days, if you came back to view this, it had resorted them out by default, but it kept them in the columns I did. I wonder if that's, did they patch that? Oh well. Not a lot of removal. I have 2 copies of Fell to destroy target creature, 1 Anoint with Affliction to exile a mana value 3 or less creature. We don't worry about Corrupted because we don't have any way to get poison counters. And I've got 1 Gix's Command for a kind of board wipe. So that's only 4 removal cards. Semi-removal kind of. I got 3 copies of Broken Wings to take care of artifacts, enchantments, and creatures with flying. Those have been coming in handy in my matches when I was playtesting. I got 1 Joint Exploration for land wrap. If we can scry to draw a card. If we kick it for a green as well, if we have an extra land in our hand, we can put it out on the battlefield. 1 Moment of Truth to sift through our deck. 1 card goes into our hand, 1 into our graveyard, 1 on the bottom of our library. Again, if we have Urg Spawn of Turgout and we have enough land, maybe the land is the thing that we throw into the graveyard to power him up. We have 4 copies of Confounding Riddle. I usually use this to counter target spell unless its controller pays 4 mana. But if we get into a place where they have way more lands or just counter spells aren't really equivalent, aren't really relevant for the matchup, then we can look at the top 4 cards of our library, put 1 in our hand and the rest in our graveyard. Again, looking at lands to power up Urg. 1 Inspiration from Beyond, mill 3 cards, return an instant or sorcery from our graveyard to our hand. Has flashback, so we might be able to use it twice. So we might be able to reuse some of these removal cards if we need to. And then we're on to the lands. We've got Hidden Cataract, which we can sacrifice, power up Urg, discover 4. Same with the Surgical Bag, draw a card. We have 2 copies of Lilypad Village. If we have a spare blue, we can tap it to surveil 2 if a frog comes down. And we have 2 copies of Oak Hollow Village, 1 green, you can tap it, put a +1/+1 counter on each frog that comes in. And we have some lands that turn into creatures. 3 Restless Reefs to turn them into 4/4 black shark creatures with Death Touch that we can target mill for 4. And then where we go? Restless Vinestalk for 5. 1 has to be blue, 1 has to be green. Becomes a 5/5 green and blue plant creature with trample. And when it attacks, another target creature has base power and toughness 3/3 until end of turn. We could pump up our 2/1s with that, or we could turn one other, if they have a Yargle and Multani and they have an 18/6, we can turn that into a 3/3 as we're coming at them. 1 Demolition Field, like always, to get rid of their special lands. And let's go back in and see how all the other frogs do. We've combined both the frogs from Blomburrow with Yargle to win our first match. See if we can keep it going. I did still lean heavily on the Blomburrow expansion to have a full contingent of frogs. I will not deny that. Let's see. Can deal damage? Sure. We don't really have a 2-drop, so let's play the tap lands first. That card's kind of gross. Let's put out... So we'll put that out. That didn't work too well. Let's try a pawn profit. Now, if our opponent stops putting out lands, Confounding Riddle would be good to hold up. Don't mind if they kill this, because we got Gix's command. So let's go ahead and just play that. They're not feeling any pain. So now, let's see. We need 6. So we put down the Long River Lurker. We make sure the Pawn Prophet can't be blocked. We get a hit in. They don't seem to have an instant removal. We exile it, bring it back, and get a card draw out of it. Now, if they do get removal, they've got to pay a ward cost first, which is going to help us with countering the spell. And that's only a -2/-2. That doesn't kill it. Interesting. This does kill that. And let's see what else we got coming up. You know what? I'm going to take that. I do need a lot of land for this deck to work, especially if I'm always holding up 3 for a counterspell. There's the white. I was wondering where their second color is with all this life gain. This may explain why they weren't able to cast certain cards. And I could instantly play a counterspell, but we kind of want to wait and make them pay. It's better. I can't stop that. It is better. Let's just do this. Auto pay. Tap you down. Put stun counters on you. Attack for 3. We'll get them under 20 someday. So if they have a board wipe, we force them into it. See, with all the land we drew and we still can't counterspell, we still use too much energy. I'm kind of okay with that because we can now do this. Get rid of the 2, and let's put counters on the Long River Lurker. That way we've got 7 plus a little lifelink going on. Finally got him under 20, got us back up a little bit. Equal life. Battlefield advantage is mine, and I've got a counterspell. But that's only 3, and they can already afford stuff. It's fine, because they think they're going to be able to cast a second spell, and they can't. Yeah, baby. Oh, now we get to have some fun. Oh, they don't even wait for it. They don't even wait around. The frogs won again, the combination. Blomburrow frogs with the other frogs. Oh, we leveled up and everything. Frogs are leveling me up, people. The designers say that green and blue is quite often the toughest color for them to figure out. I don't know if it's always, if they leave it to last because it's tough, or because they try and do it, they tackle it sooner and they encounter problems and they're like, okay, we're going to push this back until we figured it out. But they usually come up with something good. Blue is such a potentially powerful partner because of its ability to get card draw. That inevitably, whatever they come up with, blue and green tend to be fun combinations of cards to play with. I always feel like there's potentially a lot more bigger pop-off of power in blue and green, potentially. And here I think we just lose to Elf Tribal. I got too many tap lands. I can't get into action fast enough. Usually these kind of decks can pop off and get rid of their entire hand and swarm you. This deck is actually slightly slow. Do I throw the Pawn Prophet down? I kind of need the land, right? I'm not sure how much difference it makes. We're just already so far behind. Give a creature trample. Put 3 counters on somebody, which they can do right away. Okay. Let's go for card draw, right? Missed my land. Instead, we got the most expensive thing that we can't cast. So that's not working out. They got their second color in there. But they're tapped out. I think we get rid of that. They probably don't care. Okay, what's left? 1, 2, 3, 4. If they have any way to increase somebody's power, I'm still dead. You got it? Only takes 1 mana. Yep, there you go. How come it doesn't show up in the... Oh, there it is. Yep, 1 giant growth. We missed the land drops. But we also kind of needed our board wipe. Yeah, the elves, nice cheap creatures, built-in mana ramp. You need more than 4 removal spells, I think, to handle that. I kind of feel bad in terms of playing standard modern with all the elves that they brought out with foundations, because we're used to playing in historic against elf tribal. It can be quite overpowering, just as bad as mono red. But we have that in historic anytime we want. I mean, it's hard to have a full gaming session in historic without running into elves at least once. But the idea that we're going to have to put up with that in modern standard all the time is kind of disgusting to me. I feel like it's introducing a lack of variety. Like, we know we can get that kind of variety and encounter that in one of the formats already. And in multiple formats, technically. I think we just hold up our counterspell for now. Actually, we don't do that. We let that resolve. And then we take care of it because we have 2 broken wings. Okay, so hopefully they don't get the card draw. And then we pass again. If they're going to try that again, we have 2 different ways to respond. I think broken wings again. Yeah, still holding up the counterspell. There we go. Wait a second. They've been holding on to a land, right? That's a sorcery. I've got to wait till the next turn for that. Okay. No mistakes, Travis. There we go. Okay, now we still have our counterspell. Unless they play a land and play a 1-drop, we're good to counter their 4th spell in a row. Yeah, there we go. This is only a 2-drop, but the ability to exile cards from graveyards, they can scale that up really big. Now, if they have a 3-drop, they finally have a way to get a presence on the board. There we go. Counter deck indeed. I kind of like that. Let's go ahead and we'll get rid of 1 Bellowing Crier to get the joint expiration up in our hands. We can play this now. And I think we'll take the land. As I said, I need a lot of lands. And I don't think they have a way to kill this now, which means we have time. Yeah, we do. Okay, play another land there. Joint expiration is perfect. We pay the kicker. We get to scry the 2. We've got another Gitrog. Oh, that's Yargle. I've got Yargle and Gitrog now. Then we can put this land card onto the battlefield. And I think we just block, right? Well, actually, I don't mind swinging in with that. All of these others are more important to them to keep on the field because of the potential that they have to build up. Bellowing Crier has none of that. Yeah, you're looking, but you can't do anything yet. Ooh, Yargle and Montani off the top of the deck. That is so sweet. Put a land down. And I can't get through with my Bellowing Crier anymore, but I'm okay with that. They could quadruple block this if they feel like next turn. But I'm gambling they don't have a way to get rid of it. What if I sacrificed it to the Gitrog? I've got a backup Yargle. I feel like I should try that anyway, just for the fun of it. they've got enough ramp. They got 1, 2. They've got 8. They pay a 3. Absolutely fine. Nice card draw. Okay. Well, I don't know. They spent 3 to get 1. What are they doing? Okay. All right, we're going to bring this down. We're going to saddle it with Yargle and Multani, just because. Oh, that was indestructible for the turn. That's why they ran it in against me. It's been a while since I've had to play against this card. Do you block? They do not block. We sacrifice Yargle and yeah, we're going to sacrifice you. We draw 18 cards. Put up to 18 cards on the field. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is that all of them? And only 1 damage and 1 surveil, which that's fine. And now, what do I have in my hand? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Man. Let's tap you down. Auto pay. End the turn. Discard 2 cards. How much cards do I have left? Let's get rid of the confounding riddles. That was just such a fun play. Like, does anything else even matter anymore? Oh, come hit me for 4 points. What do I care? Alright. We'll play the land. We'll get some cards. Oh, that's beautiful. Destroy 2, sacrifice creature at the most. Draw some more cards. Long River Lurker. Attack with 3 creatures, one of which is unblockable. That's lethal. They have to block something. They should block the Halo Hopper, right? Because this has trample. They're taking the same amount of damage no matter what. There you go. They figured it out. And then, yes, we exile that. Bring it back. Tap you down. And draw another card. And I think that's a good enough turn. How many cards do I have left? 11 cards left in the deck? Well, they're not waiting for that. Okay, so I don't know if we knew about this before, people, but Gitrog Ravenous Ride combined with Yargle and Multani. Okay, just sacrifice the Yargle and Multani. It'll be great. We got an achievement. Let's go in and look at that. Oh, and a card. Life is just too good. Case of the Trampled Garden. I don't think I had 4 of these yet. Alright, I could build a deck around that. Okay, this is Color Masteries. Red. We don't have red. Cast 6 or more spells in a single turn. Oh, and they've got the... This is one of my favorite cards, one of the art for that. Is, oh, and I'm blanking on the name right now. It's a 6-cost enchantment. It'll come back to me when I'm done recording. But yeah, okay, so cast 6 or more spells in a single turn, Color Mastery Red. So if you want, you can go to use a blue, black, and green deck and get the Color Mastery for red, just so you know. We'll go ahead and add that into the video I'm going to do on achievements at some point in the undefined future. I think we'll just end it there just because that was so much fun for me. It can't possibly get any better than that, right? Yes, get a Gitrog down, get a Yargle and Multani down. Just don't even bother attacking with Yargle and Multani. Just sacrifice it, draw a third of your deck, put all the lands down. It would have been really cool if I'd been able to get Urg and Spawn of Turg down in there too. Then I could just spend a whole turn just sacrificing all my lands and pumping him up. I like these other frogs. Urg's kind of potentially cool. Glarb was awesome, which we didn't use in the first frog deck, even though he's from Blomburrow. And of course, Yargle and Multani and Gitrog. They're the team supreme. All the other possible synergies that we have with the Blomburrow frogs works really well with all of them. Did we need Halo Hopper? Maybe not, but he's a frog and he's fun, so I threw him in there. So as always, go ahead and like and subscribe. If you think I should be doing something different with this type of frog deck, let me know. Leave a comment, and we'll have something different for you next time. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.